Welcome to This Explainer. Have you ever wondered why running a busy restaurant or managing a massive tech support team feels absolutely nothing like selling a pair of sneakers? Well, today, we're unpacking the services marketing mix. We're going to look at exactly how modern organizations navigate the totally unique challenges of the service industry. If you've ever felt that traditional marketing models just kind of fall apart when you apply them to modern service ecosystems, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll first tackle why traditional marketing falls short, then we'll dive straight into the 3 new Ps, people, process, and physical evidence, before bringing the whole thing together with strategic integration. Starting right off with Section 1, Ontological Divergence and the 7 Ps. We really have to start by asking, why did the original 4 Ps, product, price, place, and promotion, why did they fail so hard when it came to services? Well, simply put, services are just fundamentally different from manufactured goods. Think about it. You can't put a haircut on a shelf and save it for later, right? That's intangibility and perishability. Crucially, there's an inseparability of production and consumption. The service is being consumed at the exact moment it's being produced. And unlike a factory pumping out 10,000 identical smartphones, every single service interaction is unique. That's heterogeneity. Services are experiential. They're performed rather than manufactured, which means the value is always co-created dynamically with the customer in real time. Literally, every human interaction is a vital asset. And that brings us to Section 2, people, the human interface. This is the very first of our expanded dimensions. No element of the services marketing mix more directly determines the quality of the customer experience than the actual people delivering it. Because of that inseparability we just talked about, your frontline employees aren't just support staff. They literally are the service. That's exactly why internal human resources marketing is so incredibly vital. Your employees basically function as an internal market. They need to be engaged, trained, and aligned with organizational values with the exact same rigor that a company applies to its external customers. When we empower these employees with real decision-making authority, they can make those critical, on-the-fly judgment calls that completely save a customer's experience during a real-time service recovery. Empowered employees are what directly shape customer satisfaction and long-term loyalty. Now, this brings up the immense psychological demands of service encounters, specifically emotional labor. There's a critical distinction here between surface acting and deep acting. Think of surface acting as that forced, fake smile a completely exhausted barista gives you just to meet company policy. They're just suppressing their genuine emotions to meet the rules. Deep acting, on the other hand, is when they genuinely try to adopt the required emotional state, actively feeling the empathy or the enthusiasm the situation requires. Doing that takes an immense toll, proving exactly why emotional intelligence is a massive asset in high-contact services. It deeply impacts both the service quality and the well-being of the employee themselves. If we look across different sectors, structural challenges cause massive role stress, and failing to manage this leads to severe emotional exhaustion. In healthcare, for example, we see role conflict where the deep emotional demands placed on clinical staff really clash with intense patient safety protocols. Staff well-being there is quite literally a prerequisite for care quality. Then in food services, work overload is driven by high-volume, high-velocity pressure requiring just immense physical resilience. And over in banking, we see role ambiguity as routine transactions shift to digital platforms, totally changing the required staff competencies from basic transaction processing over to complex financial advisory. Let's shift gears and move to our next dimension in Section 3, process. This is the operational architecture of the service. Service processes encompass the systems, the customer journeys, and the activity flows by which organizations actually deliver their value. The crucial point here is navigating the fundamental tension between standardization and customization. Standardization maximizes efficiency and consistency. Just think of the incredibly predictable assembly line of a massive fast food chain. But overdo it and the service feels totally rigid and robotic. Customization, however, prioritizes personalization and flexibility, like the highly tailored care of a boutique consultancy. That drives massive satisfaction, sure, but it complicates operations and drives costs way up. Today, sophisticated management really looks for that sweet spot through mass customization, configuring standardized, modular processes into individually tailored experiences. Of course, process design is being radically transformed by technology right now. Process automation is advancing incredibly fast, moving from basic interactive voice systems and simple chatbots right up to complex AI-driven personalization engines in finance and even robotic service delivery and hospitality. Having the customer co-produce the service through automation presents vast benefits, like speed and 24/7 availability, but man, it carries intense risks. Think of the total depersonalization or the immense frustration of a service failure when a self-service kiosk just completely crashes during the emotionally charged moment. Because these processes can often feel so opaque or overly complex, process transparency has become a massive driver of customer trust. I mean, nobody likes being kept in the dark. Poorly designed processes create deep anxiety. That's exactly why we need clear explainability in algorithmic financial decisions, highly transparent clinical pathways in healthcare, and real-time tracking in logistics. Even the simple act of waiting, which is itself an architectural process challenge, is vastly improved through proactive waiting management. That's where wait times are explained, updated, and made entirely predictable for the customer. Moving right along, we arrive at Section 4, Physical Evidence and Servicescapes. This is essentially the tangible side of the intangible. Because you can't actually touch a service to evaluate its quality before you consume it, organizations have to provide tangible, physical clues to signal that quality. Enter servicescape theory. This refers to the built environment where the service actually happens. And it's not just decoration. It functions as a profound signaling mechanism. Atmospheric design totally dictates critical outcomes. It influences cognitive assessments, emotional engagement, how much time a person wants to spend in that environment, and their behavioral tendencies, like whether or not they even plan to return. So we can break this framework down across 3 primary dimensions. First up, ambient conditions. This is temperature, lighting, scent, and music. These are heavily, brilliantly engineered in hospitality to create the absolute perfect hotel room ambience. Then we have spatial layout and functionality. These are crucial in retail and banking for guiding customer flow and creating comfortable, collaborative spaces. Finally, signs, symbols, and artifacts represent organizational identity. Just think of theme parks for a second. Their highly immersive architectural theming and sensory engineering are specifically designed to suspend your disbelief and completely elevate your emotional engagement. Every single physical cue is a masterfully engineered proxy for quality.
Furthermore, the explosive emergence of digital servicescapes perfectly parallels the physical ones. As services increasingly migrate online, your website or mobile app basically is your physical evidence. The digital servicescape encompasses information architecture, user interfaces, and overall user experience quality. The exact same principles of clarity, accessibility, and atmospheric quality apply here. And here's why this matters so much. If your website is clunky and broken, the customer instantly assumes your service is too. The trustworthiness of a digital environment and exceptional UX design are now absolutely central to beating the competition.
And that brings us to our final section, strategic integration and conclusion. To wrap all this up, we really have to synthesize these dimensions into one cohesive service ecosystem. People, process, and physical evidence complete the strategic logic of the 7 Ps framework, but you simply cannot manage them in isolation. True service quality only emerges when human interactions, operational systems, and physical environments work together in total harmony. Contemporary services marketing requires bringing all 7 dimensions together to truly master value co-creation, especially as we navigate the highly connected, omni-channel nature of modern service ecosystems. Before we officially close out, I want to leave you with a formal attribution. This explainer is based on the intellectually rigorous framework created by Professor Dr. Gustavo Souki from the School of Business Sciences of the Polytechnic Institute of Setúbal. As you step away from this explainer today, I really want you to ask yourself, in your own organization, are you simply managing isolated transactions, or are you truly orchestrating the people, processes, and physical evidence required to create a completely transcendent customer experience? Food for thought. Thanks for joining me.